Turki Al-Sheikh ends up flaming Canelo Alvarez with the hard-boiled truth. I'm talking about straight flaming him. He goes on to say, I heard what Canelo said, that he respects me, but he doesn't like the way I do business. As for him respecting me, it doesn't matter to me if he does or not. As for the way I do business, I know why he doesn't like it. Because I only target big fights at a fair price. So of course, anyone who likes easy fights won't like that. And I know how he feels after losing to Bivol. So he's been looking for easy fights ever since. Also, I'm not the one who's afraid of fighting Benavidez or Crawford. Damn. Therefore, I knew he was wasting our time and making excuses with big amounts of money that can't be paid. So I'm continuing my way to make big fights, and he's on his way to make easy show only fights. Somebody had to say it. You know, it's no different than what everybody's been saying about Canelo Alvarez this entire time. We heard this before with Canelo Alvarez. This was DAZN's problem with Canelo Alvarez. He wanted to get paid a ridiculous amount of money for mediocre fights, and they wasn't having that. And that's why that deal fell out. Not only that, this is the same problem that PBC had with Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't get him to fight the people that they needed him to fight or whatever and whatnot. So he ended up breaking off and then coming right back to PBC or whatever and whatnot. This is nothing new with Canelo Alvarez. The whole world knows this man has been avoiding David Benavidez. The whole world knows he's afraid of David Benavidez and now Terrence Bud Crawford, which is even more insulting and embarrassing. It should be. The reason why we're at this state with Canelo Alvarez is because a lot of people talk about the face of boxing and stuff like that. No, Canelo's the face of Latin boxing. He's not the face of boxing. Because if he was the face of boxing, we would get a David Benavidez fight. Do you want to know why? Because if you was truly the face of boxing, you wouldn't be allowed to duck David Benavidez. But Canelo is strictly for the Latino community and the Latino community alone. Only the Latino community can get Canelo Alvarez to fight David Benavidez. I'm going to say that again. Only the Latin community can get Canelo Alvarez to fight David Benavidez. Okay? Because as of right now, he's doing everything to appease them. And it's sad that the Latin community has fell so far in boxing that they would allow Canelo to duck, dodge, and be a PED cheat simply because they want to have the Mexican equivalent to a Mayweather. Those are facts. They can say whatever they want, okay? They allow him to do all this crap that he's doing because they want a Mexican equivalent to a Mayweather, and he's nowhere near that, and he will never be nowhere near that. I actually encourage Canelo Alvarez to keep ducking. You know what I'm saying? Because I know once he's done, that's the end of Mexican boxing altogether. Because they don't want to pass the torch to David Benavidez and save their life. You know, they just talk about Pitbull Cruz. Was he a hype job or was he this? No, Pitbull Cruz was somebody who never should have got all those props in the first place. His career was built off of going 12 rounds with Gervonta Tank Davis, somebody that they hate to the highest degree. But last time I checked, Gervonta Tank Davis has built 3 of Latin fighters' careers. You know, him, Mario Barrios, Pitbull Cruz, the list goes on. You know what I'm saying? They had a career after they fought Gervonta Tank Davis, you know? So being that they don't want to pass the torch and there's nobody new, and they let Canelo destroy basically the reputation of Mexican boxers that was laid down before him, Canelo came right behind them and just tore all that up. Now it's not respected. Instead of looking at as warriors, they're looked at as PED cheats. And this is a fact, because if we check the record, Latin fighters out there cheating left and right. You know what I'm saying? So I want him to go ahead and just go ahead and retire and think he'd go to Hall of Fame without fighting David Benavidez, because I want this to go down in the record books as being one of the biggest coward moves and one of the biggest open ducks that the whole boxing world has seen. in boxing history. I want it to happen because there's nobody else that can hold the torch or carry the torch for Mexican boxing except David Benavidez, but they don't want to pass that torch. So I'm going to be very tickled to my stomach, you know what I'm saying, to see it go ahead and die out, because the ignorance is they don't want to hold him to a standard because, let's face it, their biggest problem is they always comparing themselves to the Black American fighters. And since they can't do it the right way, the proper way, or anything like that, they will accept what Canelo Alvarez is doing. All that is a fact. It ain't no hate. It ain't no nothing. All that is a fact. And it came down to the point where you couldn't even criticize Canelo Alvarez. If you criticize Canelo Alvarez, you got to get hit with all the labels and you're this and you're that. Nobody can criticize this dude without the Latin community being so sensitive and so ticked off, you know what I'm saying, about what somebody is saying about him. But they know it's true, but they're willing to accept the fake. They're willing to accept the facade. So let them have Canelo like that. I think it's funny. I think it's one of the weakest things that I've seen in boxing, but I done threw my hands up to it. That's why I let Canelo go ahead and do what he's going to do. But one thing's for sure, and mark my words, Canelo will fight Terrence Crawford before he'll fight David Benavidez. See, it's only when the walls are closing on the whole David Benavidez situation, in a scramble to not do that fight, that's the only way Terrence Bud Crawford will get a fight with Canelo Alvarez, is if y'all put the pressure on him so much to fight a David Benavidez and the walls close in on his ass, then he's going to fight Terrence Crawford. But other than that, neither David Benavidez or Terrence Crawford going to get a shot at this dude. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Canelo Alvarez just get done insulting Berlanga? Talk about he has no skill, he has no IQ, and Caleb Plant is a better fighter than him? Didn't he just say that in one of these conferences? Didn't he just say that? So he admits what he's doing in front of the world. He admits he's fighting nobody with low IQ. So what is you doing if you're giving everybody the best fights? Because at the end of the day, the only thing you have to satisfy is the Latino community appetite. That's why I say he's not the face of boxing. He's the face for the Latino community. He's just there to appease them and them alone. Because had he been held to the standard as the real face of boxing, there's no way he would have got along. Well, there's no way he would have got this far and going this long without fighting the David Benavidez, because we wouldn't have had it. You know what I'm saying? And in no other community is this acceptable.
Boxing sucks because of Canelo. I just wanted to say that. And a lot of you are going to get mad at it, but fuck it. Just think about it. Boxing sucks because of fucking Canelo Alvarez.